patience, and I've never been a patient person my entire life, so this has definitely tested me a little bit, but I think it's going to be really good.
The drama surrounding Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has taken yet another jaw-dropping turn. And this time, it played out live on national television in front of thousands of roaring fans and millions watching from home. But here's the twist. Caitlin Clark didn't even play. She didn't need to. Her presence alone shook the foundation of the WNBA, hijacked an entire city, and exposed just how deep the difference between her and Reese truly goes. This wasn't a rivalry. This was a coronation. And by the time the final buzzer sounded, there was no doubt left. Caitlin Clark has taken over not just the court, not just Chicago, but the very soul of the league. The build-up to this moment was thick with irony. Just weeks ago, Angel Reese had swaggered into All-Star Weekend in Indiana, promoting her flashy Reebok campaign with the slogan, "Come to your trap, take over your trap."
Opportunity to grow, right? Just try to approach it in the best way I can. It's certainly weird.
She was branding herself as the face of confidence, of rebellion, of star power. But when the moment finally came for her to prove it in her home turf, no less she disappeared. Out with a conveniently timed injury, absent from the spotlight when it mattered most. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark walked into the heart of Chicago and turned the city into her personal kingdom without even stepping onto the court. Outside the United Center, the fever wasn't just metaphorical, it was real. Crowds swarmed the arena, chanting, waiting, hoping for even a glimpse of Clark. Fans lined up with posters, jerseys, babies in hand, just for the chance to get her autograph. And Clark didn't disappoint. She spent over 20 minutes making her way through the crowd, signing everything from basketballs to t-shirts, smiling for selfies, posing with children.
I'll feel, different than the day before, and we'll see. It could be a possibility, but I could also not.
It was as if Taylor Swift had joined the WNBA. You would have thought the Beatles were back together. And all this while, Angel Reese remained a ghost, silent, cryptic, vanishing into social media with vague posts and no presence. Let's be honest. This was never a rivalry. This was Clark entering the so-called trap and flipping the entire place upside down. She didn't need trash talk. She didn't need gimmicks. She didn't need a PR campaign. She had talent. She had poise. And she had an impact so massive, her absence on the court still eclipsed everything else that happened that night. This is what real greatness looks like. It walks into a city and makes the opposing fans forget who their own players are. Even more brutal for Reese, this was supposed to be her city, her night, her stage, but it turned into her shadow.
Good for me, and like I said, I've just tried to approach it in the best way I possibly can. I can't change it. And
she wasn't just outplayed, she was outshined without Clark even suiting up. It was a masterclass in brand domination, where real authenticity and hard work outpaced flash and facade. The moment Clark walked into that arena, the trap wasn't Reese's anymore. It was Clark's. And while the superstar was charming fans off the court, her team was putting on a demolition job on it. Kelsey Mitchell, in particular, decided enough was enough. From the opening tip, she unleashed fury on the Chicago Sky's defense. Her shooting was surgical. 7 three-pointers, 35 points, and a rhythm so locked in that every possession felt inevitable. The Chicago crowd couldn't believe what they were witnessing, and that was just the start. Mitchell didn't just take over the game, she burned it down. Her performance wasn't a fluke. It was a message.
People always not a ton of people always enjoy coming to practice every single day, but that's something I really enjoy.
The Indiana Fever are not a one-woman show, and Mitchell made sure to remind everyone that there's more than one alpha on this roster. She was relentless, composed, and clinical. And she didn't just score, she orchestrated the entire offense, dancing through defenders like they were. Practice cones, her plus-minus, ridiculous plus 25. That's not a stat. That's a statement. But it wasn't just Mitchell who answered the call. Aaliyah Boston played like a seasoned veteran. Her double-double of 14 points and 11 rebounds was a masterclass in dominance. She didn't need flash. She imposed her will in the paint with quiet devastation. Her blocks, her rebounds, her outlet passes, everything she did screamed control. Chicago's bigs had no answers.
Anybody that's ever hurt, but like I love practice. I love getting better. So I think that's just kind of been the time.
No resistance, no hope. Then there was the bench. Michaela Timpson and Lexi Hull didn't just fill minutes. They turned the tide. They brought energy, pressure, and poise when it mattered most. Timpson in particular was a revelation. Her steals ignited fast breaks. Her hustle plays demoralized Chicago. She played like a rookie with something to prove, and she proved everything. The Fever's rotation was seamless. Everyone knew their role. Everyone stepped up. This wasn't chaos. This was culture. It was depth. It was coaching. It was championship. DNA. And the result? A final score of 93-78 that barely told the truth, because this wasn't a 15-point game. It felt like a 30-point beatdown. Indiana dismantled Chicago in every way: effort, execution, identity. The stats tell the full story.
Early in the game, but I couldn't tell you the exact play something occurred on, and could have occurred over.
Indiana shot 50% from three. Chicago shot a pitiful 31%. Indiana moved the ball with 24 assists. Chicago, just 16. Indiana forced 17 turnovers. Chicago looked lost. Indiana dominated the boards. Chicago looked tired. There's no sugarcoating. One team looked like a playoff threat. The other looked like they didn't belong in the conversation. And through all of this, Caitlin Clark just stood there. She watched. She smiled. She signed. She conquered. All without lacing up. And that's the power of a true superstar. Oh. She doesn't have to yell to be heard. She doesn't have to flex to be feared. She just exists, and the world shifts around.
I think they've been really, really resilient. You know, it's hard when.
So what does this say about Angel Reese? It says that maybe it's time to stop forcing the comparison. Reese is talented. She's a marketable face. But she's not Caitlin Clark. And every time she tries to insert herself into that conversation, she falls flat. Her brand, her campaigns, her bravado wit, all collapses under the weight of reality. Because when the lights are brightest, Clark delivers. Reese disappears. Let's not forget, this is the same Clark who leads the league in triple-doubles. She's already tied for third all-time in WNBA history in that category, and she's barely played 50 games. Her trajectory is generational. Her legacy is inevitable. In this game, this moment, this weekend, it solidified all of that without her even having to touch the ball. As for the Sky, this wasn't just another loss. It was their 5th straight. A season that once held promise is now circling the drain. Their rotations are a mess. Their chemistry is non-existent. Their body language screams defeat. Their front office has a decision to make: rebuild or continue to pretend this is fixable. Because right now, they're not just losing games. They're losing faith. Meanwhile, the Fever have flipped the script. They're not just winning, they're winning with identity. They've got structure, strategy, star power. And now they've got depth. Mitchell has become a lethal second option. Boston is blossoming into an interior juggernaut. The bench is locked in, the system works. When Clark returns, they'll be even more dangerous. It's because now teams can't just double her. They've got to deal with a squad that can torch you from every angle. That's what makes this so scary for the rest of the league. The Fever are building something real. They're not just here for the spotlight. They're here for the crown. They don't rely on just one name. They win as a unit. And when you have a superstar like Clark, who's willing to defer, who's willing to build instead of boast, you get something special. You get a movement. You get a future champion. So let's kill the narrative once and for all. There is no rivalry. There is no debate. Caitlin Clark didn't just walk into Angel Reese's city. She took it, transformed it, and left with the keys in her hand. The torch was never Angel's to begin with, and now, even the illusion is gone. This wasn't just another game, it was a turning point. It was a loud, unapologetic reminder of who really runs the show. And if you're watching all of this unfold, and you finally see the clear difference between manufactured hype and real greatness, then go ahead and comment, "I've got the Fever." smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Because the takeover is just getting started, and Caitlin Clark isn't done yet. Not even close.